Ben Barkworth is a 13-year industry veteran, educator, editorial stylist, and has been an ambassador for product lines. Now he's a creative director for JUSTB Salon and founder of FASTFOILS. If you missed the last episode he was in, you definitely want to check it out and learn how he got to where he is. But today we're going to learn more about FASTFOILS, what it took to build this company, and where he's going with it. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert Hughes, and I'm your host. Today I'm here with Ben Barkworth. How are you doing today, Ben?
Great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So for the people who did not hear your previous episode, do you want to just give them a little quick high level summary of kind of where you're at and what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say, first of all, thanks for having me back. So I mean, it all started 13 years ago when I got into the industry, and I've had opportunities to work behind the chair and doing editorials and photo shoots and education and fashion week, and had lots of opportunity. And since then, 2015, I opened JUSTB Salon in Toronto, B-Side Beauty, located next door, which is all of our beauty services, and built the team up to now 22 staff. And yeah, I've had a great opportunity. I love my career. I love kind of the path we're on. And then in 2018 was when I founded FASTFOILS, which is kind of where, I guess, what we're talking about today, and diving in a little bit deeper onto that topic. So 2018, I started that with an opportunity of working at London Fashion Week with Mark Woolley. So, yeah.
Cool. And what I loved was that how you explained how you came up with the idea of FASTFOILS. So if anyone's not heard of FASTFOILS, could you give us the elevator pitch on FASTFOILS before we go any further into it?
Yeah, I've definitely mastered this part. So we'll talk quickly about what FASTFOILS is. FASTFOILS is a foil that will speed up your processing time by a minimum of 25%, which will allow you to achieve a higher level of lift in a shorter amount of time while protecting the integrity of the hair. And how that is done, it is a ultra black coated foil that can absorb heat from an outside heat source to speed up the processing time. So
nice.
It was founded, as most hairstylists do, wear black all day, every day. And I was working at London Fashion Week backstage with Mark Woolley. And I just remember being so hot back there. And it was just like, whoa, why do we do this? It's packed back there. There isn't much space, all the heat, all the blow dryers, the people. And I was just being like, black absorbs heat. Heat speeds up processing time. And it was just like a light went off. And I was like, can we manufacture a foil that can absorb heat from an outside heat source to speed up processing time? So that's how it was founded. And the key elements of it is it's more efficient behind the chair. You get to see more clients in a day in the same amount of time, generating more revenue for every stylist that's doing a set of highlights behind the chair.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I've used your foils, and I decided I was only going to use them for people who I knew I was going to have. I've had challenges in the past getting the lift that I want from them, or some people who I wanted to do a balayage on them, but I've never done their hair, and they have complaints about previous issues with lifting. It's the first time I've done their hair. So I've actually balayaged but then encased it inside of the FASTFOIL, and I was very happy that I did. So I'm excited to hear about your whole journey with this. And it's a product that I've used and that I like, for full disclosure to anybody listening.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's great. I mean, there's so many different perks and benefits to FASTFOILS. The company is based on innovation, education, investment, and efficiency. And we touch all 4 points with our business plan and our business model. It's about innovative products, creating innovative products that will help the stylist behind the chair work smarter, not harder, protect the integrity of the hair, while we're doing our services, because that is our job as stylists, is to protect the integrity of the cuticle and not creating damage and breakage. So that's why we wanted to create fast foils that will help the stylist be able to achieve the levels of lift that they want, but not having to use harsh levels of developer to achieve those levels of lift.
That's awesome. I
So
love that.
I mean, then also being education focused, we're the first foil company that has an education program. We have one of your previous guests and our director of education is Jay Ladner,
Yeah,
and
Jay Ladner.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a great conversation. Yeah.
yeah, him and I have put together an education program teaching pattern and placement and how to install foils in a more efficient way. So once again, it's about creating more revenue and generating, more revenue behind the chair in the same amount of time. So there's lots of key elements to the business, and we're not just stopping with where we're at. We have a few things coming down the pipeline,
Oh,
which are going to
nice.
be, which is amazing. Actually, today we just launched our Jay Ladner brush set, which is 3 different color brushes. So that's on the
Nice.
market today. So we're
Okay,
super
cool.
excited. Yeah.
Cool. So you're backstage and you're feeling hot and you're realizing that you're one of the big reasons is the black absorbing light. You come up like, hey, light bulb idea. Let's make this let's apply this concept to foils. So what's the first thing you do that when you have this light bulb? What is the first thing you do?
Well, I mean, the first thing was like kind of write it all these ideas that were sparking off like what to do. And unfortunately, as I said, I was literally flying out that day from London to get back to Toronto, and I was just on the plane just writing down all these ideas. And as soon as I got back to Toronto, I started to do research and development. That's the first thing you need to do. Does this exist? You know, and I
Okay.
just started looking around, and that is the first thing that everyone says to me. They're like, "How did this not already
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't exist
exist?"
already.
Right? And that was kind of the first concept. Was I mean, I already had business plans for my other businesses, so you have to adapt and evolve them a little bit of budgets and. But before you start getting into that, you really need to really dive into research and development. So
Okay.
first of all, does it exist? Can we improve it? And can we make it? With foil, I mean, there isn't that many companies and manufacturing facilities that can actually do what we do. And we just started looking around. So then, you've got to do your research on manufacturing facilities. So that was the next step is this even possible? So then we started reaching out to industry people and just asking, oh, where do you get yours made? Or, then doing research online to be like, can you send me samples or is this even possible? So that was kind of our next step. And then does it work? Like, does that idea
Right.
work? Just because you think it might not. We tested probably 6 different manufacturing facilities before we got to the one that we wanted to be working with.
Interesting. So you're like, so the first step is you get your ideas on paper and you start researching like potential competitors, and then you also research people who have the capacity or already manufacturing foils, and then seeing if you can tweak their foils and personalize them and make them your own. Did you just like, I mean, did you find places like online, like who manufactures foils, or like how'd you find other than I guess asking other like, what do you ask like a distributor, like where do you buy your foils from, kind of thing?
I mean, I was very close with the CEO of a color manufacturer that I worked with as an educator, Mia Ligori.
Okay.
Great friend. We have great respect for each other. So I asked, I was like, not exposing any information that I was looking for, but like, do you know of anybody in the industry? I mean, we're so fortunate to have such trade shows such as Cosmoprof, where you
Right.
can go to the manufacturing area and talk. Everyone kind of comes to the trade show to, this is what they can do. And, there's different brokers that you can use that know different people, different manufacturers. So it's
Mm.
about connecting with brokers. And I have had a broker at the time, because I started the Unicorn palette, which is a palette that holds 6 different hair colors in the space of 2 color bowls. So I'd already gone through previous manufacturing with another product that we own. So I'd already gone through the process of kind of reaching out to people and having a network.
Gotcha.
And then it was about, okay, so is this doable, and then does it work? So then we had to do thermal testing. You have to go to labs. You have to do chemical composition. And then you have to get your trademarks. You have to get patent pendings. I mean, so then you have to get your legal team involved. Is there patents on anything like this? So then you have
Yeah.
to send a legal team out to try and dive into that. So it's not as easy as, coming up with like, oh, it's a black foil, let's do this. There's
Get some
been,
spray paint.
yeah, there's been a lot of research and development. There's been a lot of legal fees, and you want to make sure that you're not, when you're developing a brand, you need to make sure legally that you can do this. And I mean, that's a big thing when you're starting out, when you're doing the research. Is there a patent on this already? Like,
Mm.
when
So,
you
so like, what kind of? It sounds like a pretty heavy startup process. Did you get investors? Did you self finance? Did you take out loans?
self-financed, and I mean, we started off with our first order. I think it was like 500 units of each
Yeah.
foil, and I was like, oh, like this is a lot. Like, we're,
Yeah.
and I mean, Jay was here last week, and we were doing some education and some media stuff, and it's one of those true moments, like when you're like, look, like this is where it started. Is we were warehousing the product in my boiler room in the salon, and we would, my staff would go to, oh, we've got an order, and we'd, go downstairs and fulfill it and send it out. To now where we have 3 fulfillment centers across North America, and we just launched our distribution sales model. So we're now going to be in distributors across North America as of November 1st.
Wow, this sounds like such a serious production you got going on. This is so awesome. I'm so
Yeah,
happy to hear this.
thank you.
Uh, s- so what when something that comes up a lot when I talk to like rising stylists or anybody who's looking to build a business. So like we've talked a little bit about like some of the background stuff that the research, the development, the legal teams, the networking, discovering your manufacturer, sending that something that is asked a lot is like building a brand. So, would you talk a little bit about that, your brand building process, and any sort of pointers or thoughts or things to share on that end?
Yeah, I mean, and that's, your brand is what is key. One of the key elements to the success of a business. And what are your key points? So for FASTFOILS, it's about superior lift-in technology. It's about protecting the integrity of the hair. So you've got to break it down of what does your brand stand for, and what's going to get the attention to your target demographic, right?
Yeah.
So, and then it has to be consistent across the board. I mean, we've changed our branding once now, so we're now into our second brand launch, because we're changing packaging, and we're changing, and that's okay. But you're still sticking to your core value and what your core message is. And I think less is more when it comes to building, when you're talking about your branding, for sure. Because when there's too much information, there's too much distraction. So I think it's really important to get your clean message out. What are your 3 points? And then that's where your story comes from.
Nice. Did you hire like a designer or anything, or did you do the design of some all of your stuff yourself?
Um, When we first started, I had a business partner that was actually in marketing.
Okay. Nice.
He had a lot of insight when it came to marketing for sure. And My sister, luckily, is a graphic designer and an incredible graphic designer at that.
Nice.
So I had some in-house support that was, really helped. Um, and she's been great with us since my business partner is no longer with the company. In 2020, he decided that he didn't really have the passion for it anymore and didn't want to kind of invest and didn't really see it was really going anywhere. And that's when, in our last conversation, I talked about during the pandemic of like digging my
Hmm.
heels in. And I was like, no, this has legs. I really want to take this to the next level. We kind of split ways and, bought him out and took on sole proprietorship of the business and kind of have grown it from the ground up since then.
I love that. And so do you think it had to do with, did your business partner have to do with like the fact that it was COVID and they was worried about like sales and stuff dropping off, or did it have nothing to do with that?
I mean, a big part of it, our sales had plummeted like
Yeah.
completely. And just didn't want to. We're self-financed the entire company. We've never
Gotcha.
had a loan out. We've never, so it's always been our own. And he just didn't, I don't think he was having a shift in his own career. He just didn't want to be investing any more sweat equity or uh, financial equity into the business. So
Gotcha.
I was like, no, I believe in this. I believe in this business. I believe in the product. We just have to put some, building blocks to get it where we want to get it.
Nice, nice. That sounds great. So if anybody out there that's looking to launch a product line or come up with a new tool, or maybe even just launch starting their salon, whatever it is they're launching a business. Do you have any like last pieces of advice as we kind of wrap it up here?
Yeah, I mean, you have to truly believe in what you want to do, but don't let having an idea scare you off on looking into something. Um, I mean, everything that we have in our life, every invention came from an idea. It's just about taking it to the next step. A thought is just a thought, but taking it to that next level of doing that research and the development, you can change the world with inventing something new. I was fortunate enough to receive the Inventor of the Year award last week at the Hollywood Beauty Awards for
That's awesome.
FASTFOILS. So, I mean, anything is possible if you believe in what you want to do.
Congratulations on that. That's cool.
Thank
I
you.
was looking through your social before we started and I saw that. So that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
And then it's endless. Like I said, we were B2B before, and now we're taking it globally with distributors, and it's completely changed our business model with our sales team. But don't. I mean, the other big thing is have a budget and stick to it. It's very easy to overspend and dig yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. Definitely do your homework. Um, Definitely make sure that you're not going over budget because that you can slip into a place real quick.
Anywhere that people should think consider spending less or more versus more money?
One of the biggest attributes to our success has been PR and marketing.
Okay.
It, it really has. That's what made one of our biggest change. We brought on a PR and marketing firm that it has a price tag, but that has made the biggest difference when we're coming to exposure and industry awareness. So definitely on that is where our investment definitely has made a big difference. Where not to travel,
Okay.
I had an advisor when I was kind of going through all this, the beginnings of taking the business over, she goes, well, why did you have to go to that show? And why did you have to do this? She's like, that's just a waste of money. Like, you know, when it comes to your flight, your hotel, your food expenses, stuff like that. Like those are things that you don't have to spend money on. For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like
My
there's
pleasure.
so much information contained in here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us.
My pleasure.
Uh, so, but I guess to sign off, do you have you said you have some things in the pipeline? So like looking forward, and you know what? I guess a couple of things. One, where can people get FASTFOILS, and what should we expect coming into the future?
Yeah, so first of all, we are available at www.fastfoils.ca. So if you want to purchase online or find out more information about our education program or where we are and what we're doing, you can also check us out on Instagram at FastFoils. So there are two kind of immediate. But also, like I said, in November, we are launching into a complete different sales model, and you will have a local distributor. We're going to be covered over 26 states and 3 provinces to open in November, which is incredible. So, you know, if one thing is ask your distributor about us, because the more we grow, the more we can be closer to you, less shipping, and the more you ask about FASTFOILS, the quicker we can be in your neighborhood for sure. And what do we have coming down the pipeline? 2 things I can tell you. We have our J. Ladner brush set, like I said, that's launching, which has 3 different color brushes in it. So it's about efficiency, detailing, and that's a limited edition. So check that out. It's a beautiful set. And in November, we are launching a first ever FASTFOILS roll. One of the things that we got feedback from our stylists that have been using it, but not everybody uses a pre-cut foil. So we started off with 2 pre-cuts, a 5x7 and a 5x12. Then Jay was like, I need a bigger foil. And I was like, okay, 6 months later, we launched an 8x10 pre-cut. But then not everybody uses pre-cut. So we're going to be launching a 5-inch, 5-pound roll in November, which is super exciting for all those roll users. Yes, we've also made some changes with our pre-cuts. One of the feedback by some big artists was that they don't want the paper in between. So we're going to be one of the first pre-cuts that don't have the separating paper in between. Once again, it's about efficiency and the environment. And so we're adapting and evolving and quite a bit. So there's the 2 things I'll tell you that we're launching for now. And we have a bit more coming down, but we'll save that for the next interview.
That sounds perfect. All right. Well, thanks again so much for coming on the show. And everybody who's listening or watching, check out the description below. You'll see the links to FASTFOILS and any more information that you'll need. And if you're listening on podcast, give us a following and a rating. If you're on YouTube or Instagram, leave a comment below, like and follow. It helps support us. And definitely check out the links and support FASTFOILS. Thanks again, Ben.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Until next time, take care.